Oh boy, we got Troy coming again.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're watching Janner's Haunted Secrets
on the Outline Network.
What they say.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's a secret sound hidden deep within the center of the earth. Until you listen closely enough, you can hear it. And it sounds like razors through flesh. We are merely here to turn up the volume.
Hello, 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 and welcome to our corner of this freak show that we call the Haunted House Attraction. I can't even take you seriously today. But today on the show, we do have a couple different guests. In our first hour, we have Reverend Mike. Yep, this wonderful gentleman here. And we also have returning our wonderful co-host, Friday. And it's always a pleasure to have her, because she has more knowledge about how these shows run than I will ever have. But today we are going to talk about Texas Haunters Convention that happened, and anything else that we want to get into. Mike, you've been on the show before, and we are really glad to have you back. And I Reverend, is that what? There we go.
Oh, Troy quit. Oh God, who's that? Christopher. Christopher, quiet. Quit it. In an hour. They're watching, I'm assuming.
They probably are. But we do have two other guests that are going to be joining the show here in an hour, and we're going to be super happy to have them. But I've never been to the Texas Haunters Convention. It's actually still fairly a new convention.
I think this was year 6, 7, 8, 6, maybe.
And, it's still young, but it's developed so well through all the videos and photos I've seen.
Growing in leaps and bounds. Oh, and disclaimer right here, I am not part of Texas Haunters Convention. I am not affiliated with or anything. I'm just an attendee, so.
Right. So,
but they are growing with leaps and bounds. I'll give you some more information on that in a little bit.
So one of the things I do want to point out is I've never been to the convention. None of the Elliott that I know has been to the convention. That might change for me in the future. As this has developed, I've watched it and on and on and on. And I think it's wonderful that these conventions are starting to gather some wonderful speed and starting to pick up so wonderfully rapidly. I know that if you go to a convention, if you are really into this industry, these are conventions that absolutely will pull you in, and they always want to keep your attention, because if they keep your attention,
one of us, one of, yeah.
if they keep your attention going, they will absolutely want you to come back. And for me, I've been to the Midwest Hunters Convention twice now. I really enjoyed that. I know there's the East Coast Convention, and there are several conventions. Awesome. But there's so many conventions that are coming around, and it just seems like the Texas one has really picked up some major steam and speed in the last couple of years. I mean, Mike, would you like to tell us about what you've seen there? Because honestly, like I said, I haven't been there, but I've seen all the photos.
No, like I said, it's been going. I mean, even just so last year was our first year going, and we enjoyed it a lot. We decided to come back this year. Another little fun thing about that is it also has been, the last 2 years at least, fell on my birthday. So I also got to celebrate my birthday down there. So that's, having that with all the friends that don't see very often and things like that. That was also kind of special for me. But just between last year and this year, it grew immensely. It's growing so fast. This was the last year in Mesquite, and they did already announce it publicly. So it's okay that I say that. They have to move to Irvine. Yeah, Irvine, Texas. Irvine. I think it's Irvine. It's about 20 minutes closer to Dallas. So for those of you flying into Dallas, it's a shorter drive down to get there. But they've outgrown it. The first year, or last year that I was there, they had the hall filled up. And then there's a big conference room next to it that they had other things going on. And then the next area next to that, which had the dance floor and the stage and all that, they had things going on. Well, this year, that middle room was also vendors. They had filled the vendor hall, and so they had to use the next room for vendors. And I hear there were still 50 vendors on the waiting list to get into it. They couldn't be there because they just didn't have room. So they're moving to a bigger venue. So that's a good thing. I mean, that shows how quickly that they're growing and everything. Other little technical things, they're doing things they're trying out new stuff in like the registration and things like that are kind of innovative, that are working pretty good. You show up, you get in there, and they've got little video screens, little touch computer monitors, and you say, get my tag and enter in, scan your code that you got on your email. The machine scans the code for you, and it just pops up, and you say print, and it prints you out your little armband dealio, which has a QR code on it that has all the information of all the different things you're registered for. So you don't have to have 12 different armbands. Right. That kind of a thing. So, just whatever you're at, scan them. You're good for that. You don't have to have a whole bunch of them. They've been taking feedback from and actually implementing it and trying new things, feedback from the attendees each year. One of the ones that one of the people missed, the vendors have the lanyards and cards, with their names and stuff. But the attendees don't. Now, right. That's one of the things we're like, we think you maybe ought to try and bring that back. Because I know, for me, we know a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there. I'm old. I, by the way, celebrated my 60th birthday while we were down there on Sunday. I don't remember faces. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't necessarily remember faces to names. And it's not because you're not memorable. It's because this doesn't always work right. So I like being able to walk up or walk by somebody and glance down at their name tag and see their name in big letters and connection, now I know who you are. Instead of walking up and trying to they have the name printed on the wristband, but half the time that's covered up and whatever. So anyway, they're taking the comments, they're requesting comments and taking the comments right in the middle of the tech sector in Dallas. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hello. This is Gallo, as in, the hangman's gallows.
I'm pretty kidding.
Gallo, look this way. Camera's up. Hey, dude, camera's up here. Not back there. Oh, whatever. Anyway, but they're growing, and this year was bigger than last year and better than last year. All kinds of fun stuff going on. We saw lots of people. So you have CRS? Yeah, yes. Can't remember shit. Yes, I do. It took me a second, but I remember the acronym. It took me. I can remember the lyrics, every word from a song from 1962. But why the hell did I walk into the kitchen?
I totally get it, man. I really do.
Yeah.
But mine's just I've got way too many things I'm thinking about.
It doesn't get any better, Pyle. It doesn't get any better.
Oh man.
Sorry.
I was hoping for a change in my life, but so what's some of the stuff that you were really excited to see this year?
I'm too old to get excited, but really happy to see. Let's put it that way. Well, no, that's the costume contest. Mistress Lori and I, we don't actually go to the balls anymore because, again, they're for the younger crowd. They're loud and music playing and lots of dancing and that kind of thing and lots of drinking. We don't drink, so we hang out with our friends outside of it. Hold on, just a second. My carpenter. I thought he was doing. My carpenter just sent me a picture while we were at our anniversary. Our anniversary is Sunday also. While we were at our anniversary dinner, he came over and roofed the new merch building.
Awesome.
So, do we have I gotta. Share screen. Wait. Boom. Window. There we go. Oh, wrong one. Stop sharing. Try that again. It didn't click when I clicked. Window. This one. Right? Yeah. There. Does that show?
I can put it up real fast.
You have to put it up. There we go.
Yeah,
we just got a new roof on the building. So
wonderful.
Yay. We've been working on this and trying to get. He's doing other stuff. Been doing other stuff in the evening, and so trying to get together. And we've been working on it together. And he came up by himself tonight and roofed it.
Nice.
He rocks. My carpenter is so awesome. Now I'm old and I've done lots of stuff, and I've built houses. I built a house when I was a kid. Our whole family, we built the house we lived in. But when I'm around him, I am the gopher. What do you need me to hold? I'll cut boards for you, whatever. I let him. I know who's the professional here. I let him, and he's awesome. He rocks. So anyway, where was I?
We were talking about the convention and
what I was excited to see. To see, or happy to see. One of the things that I really like about this convention. Now, I've been to Transworld. In fact, Transworld was my very first haunt convention, so it kind of spoiled me a little bit. But I've been to MHC. I've been to East Coast. I've been to West Coast. We've been to HauntCon. We've been to many different types. So one of the things I like a lot about Texas is it just seems a little more laid back. It is definitely I just shut. I'm not going to read that. Whatever that comment was you made. And now that distracted me. God, there's another issue. It's more laid back. It is definitely geared towards the home haunter and the haunt enthusiast. You know, where they are, they tend to get a lot of locals who come into. So it's not necessarily even haunters coming to it. There's a lot of just John Q public coming in. And it's really excited. Yes, I was excited to see Christopher. Absolutely. I mean, that's okay. So the nipples got hard, but not quite as hard as Bill's, not quite as hard as going into Mine Trap. But yeah, Christopher was very horny this weekend. I'll let him explain that one. Even though I was the one carrying around a severed penis, I'm not explaining that one. But anyway, this is a lot more laid back. Towards there's a little bit is there a butcher shop? No, that is actually the Sinister Sydney Sundries and Salon. I like iteration. But there's a lot of from home decoration type stuff, and there's some cutesy stuff. We got some other friends that we've seen at several of them. T.R. Morse Crafts. They do crocheted horror dolls, a lot of that kind of thing too, as well as prop companies. And a gentleman who I still don't know what his company name was because he had no advertising anywhere, but he did a lot of pre-made animatronic works, motors, and that are like set up. You just take the PVC structures that already have the motors in them and apply them to something, build around them. And then we got a really, this is nice. This is nice. And I don't know why not everybody's making these. We got a couple of these. Very nice. Little, and they got wires for the, to hold the jaws on us. I think the other one actually has springs in it. But these are 3D printed. You can tell by the back there. You got the little off. But they are very nice, very detailed.
Very, very detailed right there.
Yeah. You can even see, kind of see in it a little bit. You can still see the
right.
Yeah, they're very the sutures. They're very detailed. This was from Creepy AF. We all know what AF means. But he was selling these inexpensively. And that's another thing. Since a lot of this stuff is geared towards John Q. public.
Right.
And the such. A lot of it's less expensive than you might get somewhere else. So that works out really well too. And like I said, they did have good prop, good screw him. They did have lots of nice props in there too. There were some other companies doing promos. There was, of course, the Chamber of Haunters was there. I got this awesome chicken foot necklace from them, or lanyard from them. Yes. They had chicken feet lanyards. That's from the Chamber of Haunters, which is, of course, geared for haunters, not John Q. Public. But they were there. There's some company offering bus rides to haunted houses and stuff. That I don't know. He just kind of rambled on a whole bunch. I'm not sure what that was about. There's some of my favorite. They had witches' worts there, which are freeze-dried caramel M&Ms. That was really good. Those are my favorite. I even had them. They even had them on my birthday cake.
So I've got to point this out for any of you guys that do not already know this. Mike, Christopher, and Troy are all really good friends. So if you guys are really watching the comments, If
Me, who, and who?
Christopher, Troy, and what did I call you? Something else?
No, it is me and who's Troy and Christopher?
Yeah. Anyway, these three do know each other. They're joking with each other as you are reading this whole thing, and these two are going on, and Reverend Mike is just
They'll
absolutely
have their
going back.
rebuttal time. They'll get their rebuttal time, but it's my time now, sucker.
Right. So we'll have those two on the show later. It just, if you guys are reading the comments, these are all friends. So you guys are all aware of the shenanigans. And as he talks about this guy that was talking about this bus tour and on and on and on, that I'm sure Troy's going to talk about the bus tour.
Probably. The how many? I think I have heard of him before. I think it sounds slightly familiar. I think I might even have a picture of him. Hold on, I know that it's got to be here. So wait, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Hosts. There we go. I know. Give me one more. Okay, that's some goofy water show. Are you good? Were you able to get that up so that you could show that goofy water show? Or are you going to do that?
Friday does have that.
Okay.
The video of the goofy water show.
Yeah.
You want me to show?
Go ahead and play the goofy water show.
Are you sure you wanted to? Yeah, I've got a picture of somebody I think named Troy something, Crisili. I don't remember, some weird name. But okay, so here it is. Maximize and screen share, present, share screen, window. Here's a picture of Troy. Yeah, go ahead and put it. See there's oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, see it says right there, Troy Crivellone. Crivellone something. Yeah. That's so yeah, anyway. Yeah, I might have met him once or twice. But okay, so let me if you're gonna show this, and he hasn't said no, don't show it.
No, he said water boys.
Yeah. Okay. So this is something they said. I wasn't even involved in it in the first years. I think they've been doing it since 2020 or something like that. It's a bunch of goofy, chunky guys swimming in synchronized swimming, whatever. I took part in it last year, and I got the honor of being in it again this year. And this year we had last year I think we only had one or two people filming. They edited it. This year we had an overhead drone floating up there filming it while we were doing it. So it's extra awesome this year. And these guys are fantastic. It took us hours. We practiced this. We had a professional choreographer. There we go. Come in and lay all this out for us. And I'll tell you, we followed it to the T. I mean, it was pretty awesome. It was pretty darn awesome.
Well, if we can pull that up. Oh yeah.
That was your cue. That's mine. No, not that one. The other one. It's a 2-way. Yeah. So that was a bit jumpy on my end. I don't know how smooth it was on everybody else's end, but yeah, it's called the Merman Show.
My internet is trashy.
Uh-oh. Well, I'm coming through pretty non-trash. Well, wait, my internet is non-trashy. I'm a little trashy, but
Yeah.
I don't know how that came through, but I'll pretty much bet. Hold on just a second. Let's try this different. Back it back up here. Stop. Okay. Let's try this one more time because these people really have to. These
Feel the love.
These people really need to see this. So let's see. Did I max? Oh, I got to maximize. There we go. Okay. And there and yep. And share and present, and I will start as soon as you have it up there.
Okay. Did you unmute
Just
it?
don't get. It is so quiet on the music, but to actually see these guys doing this right now, there was time and effort put into this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't get the clown to go up too high, but you know. But we're going to talk to Troy later on, and we're going to see if we can share that in our wonderful things. That way, everybody can actually click on it, see it. As long as Troy's okay that we do that, we will.
Well,
go ahead.
he did make it when he initially posted it. It was friends only, and I said, "Dude, seriously?" And he made it public, so it's public. That's all I got to say. But anyway, it's an awesome, fun time doing that. And it's just a goofy thing, but it's fun. That was one. So there are things that go on. You've got the show, and the show runs till 5 o'clock in the evening. And then you have things after, and you have things before, like the tour last year. They have a haunt tour on the Friday. And I think we went to 3 different places. And this year, they did just Dark Hour, which is enough for me, but they did the show, and then they did a lights on walkthrough, and then they did a lights on tour where you got to see the backstage, and then they did an hour-long Q&A. So it was an entire, and they fed us awesome brisket and barbecue brisket and chicken and sausage and all kinds of things and brownies. Brownies.
2 unless you count Buc-ee's.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. Yeah, that's a haunted and stuff. I don't get Buc-ee's. It's a big convenience store. But Texas people seem to love it. So, hey, they do have good brisket sandwiches. I will admit that. Although the paper they wrap them in gets wet and falls apart. And so I had chunks of brisket falling all over me because I was trying to eat while we were driving. So we have that. Haven't had any yet. So they had the haunt tour. What? Who?
I was telling them he needed to have one of those sandwiches you had because I enjoy those sandwiches you had.
The XXL, brisket sandwiches. It was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good. It was just very messy when you're traveling. Trying to eat in the car was fun. So we did the haunt tour. We did of course, going to the show. They've got tons of free educational things. They got 4 or 5 different rooms that they have things going on constantly. They got make and takes. Because they're messy. Yes, I understand. If it's not all over your face, you're not eating it right. Anyway. So I don't remember where I saw that. But they got tons of educational stuff, which is just part of, you got to register for them, but it doesn't cost you any extra. It's part of the, buying the ticket for the deal. They have food vendors outside. Right. They have food vendors outside. They have the costume ball. They have a kids costume contest. They have make and takes, just all kinds of things going on. So it's really a fun, I dare say it's a family experience. We saw lots of families there, with their little kids, big and little kids. And of course, all of them are family also. Everyone involved. I know a lot of the people personally that are involved in setting it up. They have a host hotel that we like to stay in the host hotel, which was like hooked to the conventions that are a part of all that. So we're right in the thick of it. And we get to hang out with all of our friends. And that's why we, if I want to buy stuff, I'll go to Transworld. I'll save up my money and we did buy, don't get me wrong, like I was showing, we bought several things. There's a lot of cool stuff there. But I go for the family. I go for my friends. I go to see people I don't get to see all the time. You know what I mean? And that's where they're at. And that's where it's at. Let me tell you, that's where it's at. Texas Haunters Convention. See it next year. Next year is not going to be on my birthday, though. It's going to be the weekend after, like the 25th or 6th or 7th or something like that.
Right.
Oh, well. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll probably still be going to it.
Well, I'll tell you, it sounds like a wonderful thing. What haunt did they go to?
That was Dark Hour, run by Alan Hops.
Okay.
Up there in Plano, Texas. Alan Hops, one of the legends of the haunt industry. Of course, Stiltby Studios, he runs that. Also, which they make masks and props and all kinds of stuff. And then now he and I don't know if there's other owners to it, but Alan, And that's one of the other fun things is it's also always fallen on my birthday's on the 14th. His is on the 13th. So we actually went to Dark Hour on the 12th. Last year it was on the 13th on his birthday. So they had stuff for that too. And that's all fun to see him. Alan and Shannon or Hops are just some of the best people in the haunt industry. They're fantastic people, and we love them dearly. And they like cats and animals and stuff too. So,
well, maybe I'll stretch my fingers out and see if I can get a hold of them, and maybe they'll come on the show one time.
Alan and Shannon. Oh, that would be That's you haven't had them on the show yet. What's?
I'm still trying to get through people, and
I know.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people in this haunt industry, and I love reaching out and meeting new people.
There are even a lot of legends like Alan Hops. It's not like they're just Alan Hops. There are a lot of other people out there that are big names in the haunt industry because they've done so much or because they're such awesome people. There are ones that are big names because they're assholes too. Don't get me wrong, but
and then there's big names that did haunting and now they are selling stuff, and it just seems like every single show that they can get into, they go into. And
and I've seen a lot of people too that started out as haunters, home hunters, whatever, that have started their own stores and are now vending. Christopher and Troy. Christopher's got his own shop that he vends. He's the one who sells those freeze-dried candies along with lots of other things. He makes these really cool. We've got. I'm not going to beep it. We bought this last year in Texas. Okay, so the fun part about having this when we bought it is, of course, Mistress Lori, we push around in a wheelchair. right?
Right.
Because she has the back issues and what, and she can't be on her feet for a long time. So she got to carry this around because I'll tell you, it gets packed in there. It is a freaking busy, later in the afternoon, it thins out a little bit, later in the afternoon, Sunday, it's still hard to get around sometimes. And
Right.
she had this in her lap. And when
Oh,
people
boy.
weren't moving, boom, and this is a train horn, let me tell you. These are and Christopher Celsey's in his booth, along with bears and candy and just all kinds of cool stuff. And of course, Troy's got the hot tours. And Gallo has decided he likes the skull. I'm going to have to put that away because Gallo likes the skull. And there's a reason why my severed penis is on the shelf and not over here, because I know they would play with that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's that mention again. I won't talk about that anymore. We talked about that before the show. But like I said, lots of good vendors, and Six Flags was there over Texas because they were kind of, I think, one of the sponsors also of it. I think there were a couple of the semi-local haunts. Well, Dark Hour, obviously, Dark Hour, Stilt Beast, they had, and Monster Makers, they had that whole setup for their things there. There were just so many of them. Mind Drop Creations was there. You see them at a lot of the different venues. Haunt shirts, Halloween shirts, and just all different kinds of things. So you got clothing, you got baubles, you got home decorations, you got props, you got a cat sliding across crap on my desk where he doesn't belong. Sorry. Oh, nope. That made that movable. That's what he's after. Sorry about that. I never work with animals or children. That's what they say.
That's funny.
So anyway, but it's just a wonderful time. And if you're getting tired and if you're staying in that, you can go back and relax a bit and come back out and enjoy it some more. And it's just I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it at Irving, where they have a bigger venue and the availability for even more things coming in. Because
how many days is the actual convention?
2, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday is the actual convention.
And do they do the haunt on
Friday?
On Friday?
Yeah, that's what they've been doing. Is the haunt tour stuff is on Friday.
Okay.
So
now do they have like a big bus tour on Thursday?
No, like Legendary Tour or something like that. No.
Okay.
The haunt tour is a bus tour.
Okay.
That's the Friday night one. That is a bus tour. They have, I think they had 2 big commercial, traveling buses, whatever, with bathrooms on them and everything.
Nice.
Yeah. They're very, very nice accommodations. And they pick you up right there at the convention center and take you to where you're going. And like you said, last year we did 2 haunts and Buc-ee's in between. People requested it, I guess. But now, and for those of you who are fans of Buc-ee's, I'm not down talking Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is a big. I work in a travel center. So, I work in a restaurant that's in a travel center. So it's just a big travel center to me. That's all. Been there, seen it. Yes, they have a lot of stuff. They have a lot of food. They have the clothing. So do we. We may not be quite as large as their building, but it's just the same thing, bigger. But anyway, I'm sure Troy will rebuttal that.
I'll tell you. Through the years, just watching you guys all interact with each other, then going to see you guys go conventions, I love the photos that you guys take. I love the interactions, the dinner room table where you get to see all the friends getting together. That's always one of the great things that when you guys go to these conventions, if you're a haunter or a haunt owner, or even a home hunter, you can make the connections and you get to know the people.
Like I
And
said,
as soon as
it becomes family. It
Right.
becomes family. Now, if you go back 8 years, 9, whatever, 8, 9, 10 years ago when we started going to conventions, you will see a lot more pictures. Okay. You don't see as many pictures nowadays. And there's a reason for that. It's not that I'm not, it's because I'm busy talking to my friends.
Right.
I forget to get I forget to get all the selfies and things like that because I'm more engaged with the people themselves than looking at my phone taking pictures. I always try to get a few, but I like spending more time talking to them than taking pictures of them. I know what they look like.
And yeah, and that's one of the things. When I went to the Midwest this year, it was great. I got to see Kevin again. Kevin's a wonderful person. Me and him was having a wonderful conversation and just watching the people go by. One of the great things I seen at Midwest is there is a group of people that actually have dry erase boards, and they will write down numbers that they think that your costume is. They'll just go ahead and they'll give you a high number unless you're not wearing a costume. Then they'll go and give you all ones.
Oh, there's somebody going around scoring people? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
They just sit there and they watch all the people go through. Something at the Midwest Hunters Convention I seen this year that was super awesome was they actually made the characters from 13 Ghost.
Oh, okay.
And it was really awesome. Unfortunately, they could not get their makeup on quick enough. So when they didn't get their makeup on, they could not get judged.
You're talking for the costume contest.
For the costume contest. But they were still really great costumes. And in fact, they told them, hey, come up on stage. You didn't make it in time, but we want everybody to see your costumes because no one's ever seen all 13 ghosts show up.
Now, and that's an issue, I think, personally, at all of them for the costume contests.
Right.
Is that they tend to do the judging like before the whole thing earlier, because they have specific judges and it's not the real judging isn't necessarily done right then in front of everybody. You know what I mean? Because they've got categories and they've got to figure out. So it's done early, which means that the people that want to be in the contest have to like miss dinner and think to because they got to have time to get all their stuff ready. And some of these are super elaborate. Now I'm proud to say that my friends won most of the categories of it. The scariest, funniest, judge's choice, and best of show. Are all friends of mine, and and group. So, and I don't know, Troy, he's got a lot of pictures. I know he gave you a lot of pictures. I'm sure they got pictures of those, and I will let them talk about that since they were involved in the costume contest. I snuck in right before they did the announcements of the winners and stuff. So I got to see it because they weren't checking armbands anymore.
But I'll tell you,
they had some freaking awesome costumes. So
yeah, we're going to have Troy and we're going to have Christopher come in here in a little bit. And I just want to tell you guys right now, Troy might talk about Buc-ee's, but Christopher's got a cup from Buc-ee's.
Ooh.
He looks like he's so happy with that one as he's in the back room right now. But
they're already in there. You can see them.
Okay. Yeah.
They both kept cups.
That's okay. Keep them back there. So, okay. Now, I want to give you all you people watching that aren't Troy and Christopher. I assume we have other people watching too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't even on the. Let's see who we got. Dominique and Dominique, Troy, and Christopher are the ones commenting.
Right.
Okay. More people comment. Oh, there's a Raz. And okay. Mainly it's just okay. And so this
And then Steven.
looking at all the comments, this just it kind of reinforces what I was about to say. People out there are watching us and they're like, my God, does that guy ever shut up? Just wait till Troy gets on. Just wait.
True.
Just
But I also want to tell everybody that's watching, we did give away Chainer Field of Scream tickets last week or 2 weeks ago. Here we are on the show again, and during our commercials, we will have the wonderful banner going across with the number that you have to call. And as soon as I get what number gets chosen here, we'll get those mailed out to you. This is how we start giving away Chainer tickets this year. And we want to keep this going. So as soon as the banner disappears, that means that we do have a winner. But let me go ahead and Friday, do you have any questions about this convention down in Texas, which ironically is down in your neck of the woods?
Oh, you're down there?
Yeah, but I'm broke. Yeah, I'm in Newton.
All right.
What was your most favorite
47.
silly costume?
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. What was my favorite silly costume?
Yeah.
From what I saw, probably the one that won the silliest costume, who is a friend of mine, Bill Bordner from Mind Trap Creations. And Bill won silliest costume, and well deserved. It made me crack because I didn't see it ahead of time. I didn't see it till they were walking out for the post judging, but whatever, for the announcements of who won and all that. I hadn't seen it, and dude puts work in. I mean, you could tell there was a lot. It looked like something store bought and printed, and I don't know. He does great work on all the stuff that he does. We got some torches from him last year, skull torches that are really cool, tiki torches. Anyway, right. But he did, and I'm sure those are going to be in the pictures of the costume contest. Troy will, be talking about that. But yeah, Bill is Yosemite Sam. Had to be my favorite funny costume that was in there. I'm trying to think if I saw any other silly costumes, because so many people try and go for the scary and what have you. Now the judge's choice, which was so you've got scariest, silliest, group, that kind of thing, cosplay, whatever, and then you have the two. You've got judge's choice and best of show. Those are really, they've got all these category things that they have to do to evaluate the costume when they're judging. You got to go this. Okay, now throw that out the window. What do you really like the best? What are your favorite ones? Right? Those are the judge's choice, and then best of the best of show. And both who won, deservedly so. And the you're right. Yeah, Bobby's greeting card mouse. You know what? I think I might have to show that one off because I know I have that one. I have a picture of that. I just got to scroll back down here. That he's commenting that was another silly costume that was. Oh wait, no, that's the last day that was in the costume contest. It was this previous post, which is right. There's all my happy birthdays. Got to go through that. There we go. Where's my costume contest ones? No, those are Lori's. Oh shoot. Anyway, it'll be in the folder. Bobby's was a pretty awesome costume. Saturday photo dump. Okay, so it's this one. But anyway, I was saying the best show, judge's choice. Blah, blah, blah. I wish they would let you. The way Facebook is set up now is so screwed up. If you got more than so many pictures, then you have to click through every one you can't see. Yeah, okay, here it is. Here it is. So this did not make sense. At first, I thought this was like Cindy Lou Who or her mother or something like that. When I first saw it, until he held up the postcard and the picture in his hands, and it was perfect. Now, if you look in, can I zoom in? Oh, I can. There we go. Let's zoom in again. There's, y'all have probably seen that meme, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. That he didn't enter the contest, however. So you're right. That was another good, silly costume. That was definitely one of my faves. But yeah, Troy will talk more about that whole judge's choice of best of show stuff. My wonderful adopted daughter, Sammy, got best of show. Again, deservedly show. Last year, she got Scariest. This year, she got best of show. She told him, I'm retiring. I want to judge next year. So that's cool. One of my favorite girls. Yes, Bobby did do a great job.
I know at Midwest Hunters Convention, there was, as you're going over the land bridge, you can see these two people that were walking in inflatable shark suits. And it's like, okay, well, that's nothing. All of a sudden, they got so far and they both had lights and they turned on the lights. There was LED lights inside that illuminated them.
Okay.
As you were going, you could see them going across the street, and traffic was stopping for these two lighted sharks going. Yeah, it was just incredible.
Now you keep talking about MHC. Now, East Coast, which we also attended this year, is brand new, first year. That is run by Transworld, who also runs MHC. So it's kind of the same. I don't know. I loved it. It was awesome. I don't know if I liked it more or less than MHC. I think it was not quite as loud as MHC, not quite as drunk as MHC, maybe, but that was also an awesome time. And that's another one. MHC is kind of just a step down from Transworld. It's more home haunt, but still got the pro haunt stuff on it, type of a deal. And it's more haunter oriented than haunt owner oriented, like Transworld is.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go and you can spend a lot of money, or you can spend a little money and still have a great time.
Right. And that's really nice. So we're at the point where we're going to jump into the commercial break, and I don't know, Reverend Michael, we're asking, I know you were leaving earlier, so let us know if you're going to stay, or if not, we'll say our goodbyes to you.
Tell you what, when we do your commercial break thing, I'm gonna go have a cigarette with my wife, but
Okay.
then I'll pop back in and you can stick me in the back room or whatever, or let me interject on. You know what? I probably won't get a word in edgewise, but I still like to hang around because I like these guys. The guys coming up, I like them. So,
All right.
I'll let them do the talking so they can talk about the things they want to do. But I'm going to sit here and judge.
All right, guys. So we're going to go commercial break. During the commercial break, I have a number written down here. And you better be fast because caller number 3 is going to win some tickets to Chainer's Field of Screams in Botkins, Ohio this year.
Number 3. Love you guys.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Well, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite Steve's trying to say is that on Retro Reductopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Your King Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Reductopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
So, welcome back
Hi.
to Chainer's Haunted Secrets, and I can't tell if we've got Troy or if we've got a plastic character here, but we have Christopher. Christopher,
Hi.
welcome. This is the first time you've been on the show, and we're really glad to have you. And I know that you've been really, really happy drinking stuff from that Bucky's cup. I don't know how many times we're going.
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you what's in it. I'm not gonna tell you what's in it, but it is good.
So, Troy, I gotta ask, what's going on here right off the bat?
What do you mean, you filthy varmints? We're here in Texas. We're ready to have a good time on Chainer's Haunted Secrets.
What you're seeing is part of Bill Bornder's costume.
Yeah. Now it's my costume.
Oh, jeez.
Yosemite Sam.
So
No, it's the Josephine Sheriff. Uh-oh.
that's even funnier. I don't know if he broke his
Kind
stuff.
of heavy on
Oh,
the head, man. But yes, this is part of the giant costume that he won. Best, silliest, funniest costume. The bananas are in the other room. My wife displayed it on our in our front entryway. So now when anybody walks in the house, you see Yosemite Sam's costume right there. But he did write Josephine Sheriff on the badge. So I will be we have a Halloween festival here in my tiny little town, and I am proudly going to be wearing it to the Halloween festival that I can walk to from my house. So
Instead of Yosemite Sam, it should be Josephine Sam.
Yes, it will be. It will be.
Okay.
And then when hopefully the cops will read the badge, because it's kind of small. He wrote the Josephine part pretty small on there, but hopefully they just come up anyways, and I'll get all the cops, all 8 of them, and they'll just crowd around me and we'll take pictures. No, we have 8 now. We hired like 3 more last month.
Yes, for the crime-ridden city of Josephine, Texas,
where we only get speeders. That's all we get.
Yeah, no, and if you get speeders, if you get speeders, they're gonna get some kind of like structural damage, strut damage or something, because some of those potholes are nasty.
Those are Texas dessert bowls, sir.
No, sorry.
That's what we call them.
So
we have
first
to put
off,
a positive spin on all of our broken axles. Just leave us alone over here, okay?
So first off, I want to say, Christopher, I'm glad you made it home. That was a heck of a experience. heck of an
God.
experience for you.
Yeah, I only had the van for 2 weeks. Only had it for 2 weeks, and the alternator goes out 3 hours into my trip from Texas back to North Carolina.
That sucks.
Maybe it was probably my fault.
Yeah, you were trying to sabotage me, so I couldn't go anywhere.
Maybe I replaced this alternator with a bowling ball. I don't know.
What's this tiny baby doing in there?
I do know a lot about cars, and I totally could have sabotaged it. But if I would have sabotaged it, you wouldn't have gotten out of my driveway. Okay, I'm just saying.
Right.
Because I want Christopher to stay and hang out with me all the time.
Oh,
we
boy.
did walk him around our neighborhood, which has 3 houses for sale right now that are in his price range that he could easily move to. And I've already said I will fly to his house and I will help him pack.
Yep. Yep.
So
I'm ready. I'm ready to sign on the dotted line. The wife says no.
That's so true. So let's go ahead and let's start this wonderful.
I don't think you have enough time tonight for us.
Yeah. We'll finally get started about 55 minutes in.
Oh, geez. And you two would. So let's go ahead and start talking about this Texas Hunters Convention, because I'll tell you what, Troy, before you moved down to Texas, you were actually traveling from Washington State, right?
Oregon. Yeah.
Oregon State, clear to Texas for this convention. And you would take the motor home, you would do this and that. And
no AC.
No AC. And I'll tell you what, every Taco Bell had to love you on the way.
The first time we went down to Texas in the RV, we did not go to Taco Bell because we had 8 people in the car and I got vetoed out. We did stop in Laramie, Wyoming, which I thought that part of the country is going to let you down if you want to travel there and see Old West. Like, if you're like, when you think Laramie, you think like wagon wheels and chuck wagons and old steak houses and stuff like that. No. We ate at a Freddy's custard and burger joint and in Laramie because there was only other commercialized food that was there. It was the most letdown. Like, I was super excited to go to Laramie and nothing. It was so lame. So boo on Wyoming for not staying Wyoming. Yes, we had a blast driving, and that is a testament to, because I would fly to the other conventions. I fly to Transworld, fly to Midwest and East Coast. But Texas, part of it was because we had 8 people with us, and we thought, why not drive? There's no way. I mean, 8 people on an airplane from Oregon to Texas, that's like $400 a person. We made it there on $1,000, made it there and back and with the RV and for $1,000 in gas. So
wow,
that's 2.5 people that would have gotten on a plane. So it was significantly cheaper, and we got to see crappy Wyoming, but other great parts of America on the way down there. Bottom of Colorado smells, by the way, like really bad. I think it's in Pueblo, I think is what it was. It was smelled, and they got bad roads too, but it smelled real bad. So stay out of Southern Colorado.
And now he's just offended all of your Colorado viewers.
Yeah. Well, stop smelling so bad down there. Get some air fresheners. I mean, we got air wicks all over Walmarts. Okay, come on, just start plugging that shit in, people. Okay, the problem solved.
So I just want to point out right now, if you are watching in one of these states, go to Texas Hunters Convention and look up this guy right here, because he is the one that is doing it all to you.
I will be there with pies for you to throw in my face. It's fine. You'll miss because you miss on being Laramie, but whatever. Probably the coolest thing, but I mean, besides the convention last year when we drove down, last year we actually drove, and then lived here for a week and then went to the convention. But 2 years ago, we actually drove from Oregon to Washington, or Oregon to Texas, and then back again. And one of the coolest thing as we were parked in the parking lot, somebody, Roland Pickens, put a Texas Jack. And it's something that Anthony and Deanna Powers of Cyclone Signs, they make these decals that are a smiling jack-o'-lantern inside the state of Texas. logo, and they put that on the back of the RV, and they said, "Now you are one of us." And also Shannon, that's right. Shannon and Alan Hops. Every time that I went there prior to moving there, they would say, once they found out we were moving, they kept saying, welcome home. This is your home now. And people at the convention did the same thing. It's one of the cool things about this convention that I think probably gets a little bit lost at the other ones because they've been around for so long. East Coast had this feel this year, but like Midwest and Transworld, their business, there is a lot of family feel there with the people that go for long periods of time. There's lots of people who have stories about Transworld for the last 10, 15 years that they have this feeling as well. But the people that run Texas are just like us. They're haunters. I mean, three of the main owners operate home haunts. That's how they started. They still do home haunts. But they do this as well. And the backstory of it is that they made a convention with without the things that people didn't like about the other ones. And that was their gist of making this one, was that, hey, you didn't like this, but we're not going to have that, or we're going to try to fix it and make it better. And I think they've done a good job. I think the other shows have done a good job getting rid of those things as well. So it's Mike touched on it too, that it is very, very, very family oriented, from family of haunters to families themselves. Last year, it was a lot of families on Sunday. This year, I saw families the entire time. There were so many families that were walking around, and it was one of the things that I was telling Bill from Mind Trap, because he was like, well, I don't see like a ton of haunt vendors. I see a lot of haunt vendors, but they're like mixed around, and there's not just haunt vendors. And I said, that's because this is the Texas Halloween and Haunters Convention, and they even put the word cosplay in there as well. And so it's not just haunt stuff. It's not just props and lights and makeup for your haunt. It's decor, it's tumblers, it's horror art, it's t-shirts, it's freeze-dried candy. It's it's all encompassing of Halloween. And so, but what that also does is it also shows people that may just do an indoor, they just do indoor decor. They love Halloween movies, that, oh, here's this vendor that sells really cool skulls like Mike found, or here's these scary bears that go peekaboo. Well, I could put that on my front porch. We all started doing something very small or very simple. Mm-hmm. And something like that, seeing that in the different booths, right? Like I was right next to a place that had gory, plushes, and then right next to them was a cake person. So the person walking by the cake saw then the scary bears, and then saw my bus tours, or turned around and saw Christopher's horns, and thought, I can make a costume, and I could put the bear. I could be holding the bear, and then they'll look at the bear, scary, and then I'll go with the horn next to him and scare him, and I can do that in my front yard. And so there wasn't an aisle that you couldn't go down that you would not be able to maybe morph your idea of Halloween or expand on it. And I really
one thing I do want to point out, though, is unlike other haunt conventions and Halloween conventions, there has, in the 3 years that I've been to this, there has not been a makeup vendor.
No,
there's nobody there doing makeup, and
that is missing.
It is a missed opportunity for anybody that does makeup, haunt makeup, or even prosthetics and stuff like that. It's a missed opportunity. I make some prosthetic horns, as well as the air horns. So that's why I was referred to as the Horny Haunter.
Yeah.
And so. But like I said, it's a missed opportunity. So if there's anybody out there right now that's watching this and wants to go to a convention that has yet to have a makeup vendor, and you kind of be like, you're the only makeup vendor there, make sure that you're watching the Texas Haunters, or the Texas Haunters Convention page, because they open up registration on January 1st. So yeah, come to Texas. Yeah, we're hoping that. And now that I've said that, now they're going to have 5 makeup vendors.
It'll be like January 4th, but yeah, early.
Yeah,
January.
exactly.
Right.
So, but yeah, like I said, if you're a makeup vendor or you do prosthetics and makeup with it or anything else like that, I think it's a missed opportunity, and you need to get to the show.
So one of our sponsors here is Wicked Effects. Wicked Effects does prosthetics. They do 3D printing. They have lots of different stuff. One of the things that they started carrying was makeup, and one of the owners of it is actually doing a makeup class that she is going to be teaching with another one. So perhaps you guys will get to see Wicked Effects make a travel, because I know that they just bought a trailer. Ooh. And I've got to go and I've got to modify it a little bit. But
yeah,
they've already asked me to come and modify it a little bit.
Nice.
Good.
So
yeah. So, and where are they located?
They're in Ohio.
They're in
Ohio. Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be a 16, heck of a drive.
Ryan did it. I mean, Ryan's done it 2 years in a row now, but he has a stupid auto drive Tesla, so he didn't really drive anything. But it's about a 16-hour drive, or 16-hour drive and 3 charges, I guess is what he said.
That's interesting, because it's a 16-hour drive for me, and he's further north.
Well, it's, he has a Tesla, so they get to knock 3 hours off their time. So,
whatever.
That's part of the deal of buying a Tesla. Everywhere you go, you get to knock time off.
Okay.
Whatever.
One of the things about the different shows, and what I've even told other makeup artists or vendors, is that when I was at East Coast, Jim Slanker from the Chicago Haunt Builders was there, and he asked his class, he said, how many of you, is this your first convention? 3/4 of that, and he had a full room. He had like 100 some odd people in his room. 3/4 of them raised their hand. I can guarantee you that was across the board. So 75% of the people at East Coast, and there were about 3,000 people there, had never been to a convention before that was Haunter related. And I can almost guarantee you that's the same thing with Midwest, and probably with Texas, is that when you have a show in your backyard, you have a show in the surrounding 2 or 3 states, people from Oklahoma, Alabama, Louisiana, New Mexico, things like that, they're not going to think to travel to Philadelphia or to Chicago to go see a haunt show. They may go to Transworld, but a lot of people think they can't go to Transworld because they're just a home haunter or whatever. But there are 85 some odd haunts in Texas. I would say 20 of them go to Transworld, maybe. So if you're only going to Transworld, or you're only going to Midwest or East Coast, or vice versa, you're only going to Texas, there's people that are never going to see your stuff because they're not going to travel. Sure, they may eventually find it on Facebook or something, or somebody may say something about it, but like specifically with makeup, you want to touch it, you want to feel, you want to see it being used. And it's, or, also with costumes. We did have a couple of costume vendors there. But those things are hands-on touch. I want to touch it, and use it and see what it's like. And if you're not there, all those haunts in this general South area will never find you. And that's hundreds of customers that you're not seeing. And that is the same for Midwest. If you're not going to Midwest, you're not going to East Coast. Obviously not all of them pan out financially. You can't go to all of them. There are some vendors that do, and more power to them. But obviously you have to do what your business ends up, your budgeting and all that kind of stuff. And, some people say that Midwest makes them no money. Some people say Texas didn't make them any money. So then they don't come, but they try it once and then they hop off. But I totally agree with Christopher. There were no makeup and there was no LEDs. And I've talked to Ned from Ned's LEDs, and he's like, "Whoa, it's a long drive." And I go, you have to spend money to make money. You have to get your face out there, and there are people down here who want LEDs. And
now they did have 50 vendors in the waiting list that they didn't even have room for.
They did. They had to stop the waiting list, which is why they're moving to the new location, because they have outgrown their space.
I'm just happy I was able to find these there. These are like the
spooky confectionery.
The witch's warts. Yes, the witch's warts.
There you go. We have some of those in our pantry right now too.
So Friday's got a question.
Yep.
Reverend Michael had said that you guys were vendors there.
Yes.
What type of inventory do you sell?
Troy sells time.
All you, Christopher.
Troy, you sell time.
I sell time on a bus. That's all I sell.
Time on a bus and a bunch of haunts.
I was already on this show, Christopher. You talk.
I get to talk now? I get to talk now.
You better run with it. It'll never happen again.
I know, right, exactly. So, my company name is called Tri-Hunt Creations. Oh, great! So he's
good job.
He's such an idiot. So actually, I went there with representing two companies. The first one is Tri-Hunt Creations, and then the second one is the Spooky Confectionery. And the Spooky Confectionery is freeze-dried candies. So I had a selection of freeze-dried Skittles, Jolly Ranchers, both regular and sugar-free, the caramel M&Ms, the Nerd Clusters, and new for this show were freeze-dried. I called them Bermuda Triangles, and it was freeze-dried fruit roll-ups. So I had a selection of candies,
which are really weird but good.
Yeah, they're really good. And then Tri-Hunt Creations is just kind of like a menagerie of things that I make. The first of which, as Mike showed, were the drill horns. So it's an air horn attached to the housing of a drill, which is one of my best sellers at the convention. But this year I also had, as Troy hinted, I have those the bears, the little kids bears that play peekaboo with you. Well, I've done a couple of things. I've modified them so that you can activate it with a prop trigger. Typically, there's a little button on the foot that triggers them, but I actually modified them so that they could also be used with a prop trigger. So if you have a step pad or a little push button switch or something like that, you could remotely operate it from a prop trigger. And then of course I had some that were, that's all it was. It was just modified. And then I had some that I put fangs and blood and cut stuff off or put a skull on the face of it or something like that. Yeah. Scare bears. And they play peekaboo. I also did, I also have a selection of, and I don't have any over here at the moment, but I have a selection of like Raggedy Anns that I've either just aged or modified again, blood,
the
gore.
True Annabelle. The true Annabelle.
The true Annabelle. And so, I had a selection of those. I also make the man-eating plants, the Audrey 2s from Little Shop of Horrors. I make a version of that. And then lastly, I make my own prop controllers. So it's a motion sensor prop controller that you would plug into one of my bears or any kind of a prop from, Spirit, Home Depot, Lowe's. As long as it has that foot pad port in the back, these prop triggers will activate those. Props. And then and actually, Troy's showing one of my plants. It's actually going to be a prize off of. Play the video.
Yeah.
Yep, so those are my peekaboos. Those are my prop controllers right there. Those are hand puppets.
We like puppets.
Like I said, my Raggedy's.
Yeah.
Some of my plants. Those are my cosplay horns. Some LED skull and pumpkin candles. And then my air horns.
Oh, right there, the bloody one.
And that right there is kind of like my signature piece. It's called the Hand of Glory.
Yeah, award-winning.
And then the pallet hands.
The pallet hands. Yep.
Those are cool.
Did anybody buy those?
Somebody should make that in a bigger scale, like
I know,
a life
right?
size
They should,
scale.
totally.
I know, right? Yeah, they
Put
really
that in the
should. Yeah,
launch.
somebody. 2 people actually bought them. So
Nice, right on, cool.
Yep. So they got it. They're like, "Oh, this is so funny. I gotta have one." So, but yeah, so just a variety of different items, that I make, and kind of do what another vendor that's there. If I think of something and I make it and try to sell it. There's not really a main thing that I make. I mean, with the exception of the air horns, that's lots of people like those, but if I think of something and I want to make it, I try to make it and go from there.
Because I know you vended last year.
What's that?
The bear with stitches. Do you have more?
Oh yeah. You're talking about that really small one?
The one that was up high.
Yeah, that actually, I believe I still have that one. But if it's too small for you, I can always make one that's a little bit bigger and do that same exact thing.
Friday likes it.
He makes custom bears.
I can do that. Yes.
What do you think was the difference between this year and last year with your stuff? Because I know you had some raggeties, you had your candles, and then you had your horns. What was your take on? Now he was in half of my booth since he's a sponsor of my tours, so he was halfway in my booth. I'm just a service, so I wanted to highlight him a little more. So I didn't sell any tickets last year. Thanks. But he sold a lot. But what was your take on like people's sentiment versus the 2 years?
Well, last year I really only had the horns. I had some raggeties, and I still, the LED candles. I had a little bit of jewelry, which I meant to bring with me this year, but I just didn't have the space for it. And I made those little LEDs, like miniature LED swamp lanterns.
Yeah.
Candlelight, the little flicker LED candle in it and stuff like that. And everybody was coming up about the air horns pretty much.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened this year. Like I said, the air horn, the scare horns was like a really big seller for me. And a lot of people were looking at my other stuff and, oh, wow, you're really creative. And this is really good work and excellent craftsmanship. But, as Mike had pointed out, that this is a haunters market or Halloween enthusiast market. And, the peekaboo bears that I have, while they're great, might not necessarily be for a Halloween enthusiast. A home haunter, yes, because if they're setting up a scene, hey, I can take this bear, I can put it up in a children's nursery or something, or I can just have it out and I can put a prop trigger with it, and boom, now I've got a cool little animated prop, triggerable prop. But the Halloween enthusiast might look at it and go, oh, that's cute, but I don't have any need for it in my house.
I see those really good for the creepy kid that, this is for my bedroom, not for my house, but this is for my bedroom. This is for me to walk around carrying. And I know some of those, but
yeah,
Friday has her hand up.
She does. She's been waiting patiently.
This one, they're for this one, this household. I've got 2 kids that I know have been trying to get me to figure out how to find someone who could make them. And then I get given you as a gift for a new friend.
There you go.
And my other question was, out of all the props that you have made, not the people, which one have you made and was instant joy to you?
Oh, it has to be the man-eating plants. The first one that I made. So, little backstory. So I was given one of these man-eating plants from a friend of mine, and I looked at it, and it was very well done. But she used like little thin foam, cut them into triangles, and made them for the teeth. And it was very cute. And I said, well, with all the work that I've done with my bears, I could probably improve upon this. So I did. I actually took and did the teeth and everything else like like you see on the plant there, and put a little bit of the blood stain in on it and around it, and I really liked it. Well, I'm like, I could probably do something very similar. So I attempted to make one. Now there were a few flaws in it. Like I didn't make the mouth quite big enough, in my opinion, or there was some paint that kind of chipped off someplace, and so it was not like it's not sellable quality in my opinion. But that plant is sitting on my mantle. That's my plant. I'm not selling that one. I absolutely love it. Now, granted, all of the plants that I've made since then, I've loved every single one of them. I'm like, oh, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one. I really like how this one came out. But that's been my my peekaboo bears, my raggeties, everything else like that. I've enjoyed making them, but I've never wanted to keep one. That's the only thing that I've made so far that I wanted to keep.
That's
so,
his baby.
His babies.
It's my baby.
He sells his babies. That's so terrible.
Yeah,
so Chris, do you have a website that you sell all this on?
I do. Well, right now it's primarily through Etsy.
Okay.
I do have my own website, tryhauntcreations.com, but it is a work in progress. I don't have everything that I have. I do not have listed on there, but everything that I have is pretty much up on my Etsy page. So if you just search Tryhaunt Creations on Etsy, or it's like tryhaunt.etsy.com or tryhauntcreations.etsy.com, and it'll take you right to my store, and you'll see like the different prop controllers that I have and all the different things that I have. Now, here's the thing that's kind of heartbreaking, Pyle, in Friday, is that, I mean, the story of what happened to me coming home from Texas. My alternator went out and I was stuck in Louisiana. Well, I had to find a place that could repair the alternator. And unfortunately, the car sat in the Louisiana sun for a day. All of the teeth on my plants melted. They all melted. Now, the bears and the raggeties that I have, I use the same moldable plastic to make the teeth and the claws. All of that was fine. I think it's because I didn't have the plants contained in anything. And so they were just kind of out in the open, and I think just like direct sunlight, and they melted. Yeah. And I don't want to, it's white plastic. I don't want to, and it looks like it's dripping down from their teeth. I don't want to say what it actually looks like in their.
You could probably still sell them to those people, though.
So
yeah, probably.
I tried posting a link to your Etsy, but StreamYard doesn't allow me to post a link. I guess
put it in the Facebook chat.
That's what I tried to under the comments.
Yeah,
I tried to do that, and it said comment has failed to post to the Dorkening.
Well, that's poop.
So it doesn't let you post.
Yeah, I think it's because it's a link. It's just not a comment.
Gotcha.
So if you go ahead and let us have a little time, we'll figure out how to get. What's that?
Oh, there we go. It took it when I put a comment with it.
I could share it in private chat.
Oh, well, it took it when I put a comment with it, not just the link. It went ahead and took it. So I just posted that to the non-private chat. There you go.
There you go. But yeah, we love supporting anybody that comes on the show. We want to hear what you guys are coming and cooking up, because honestly, I know the way that you're coming and you're creating things, it's going to keep on. You're going to add to your collection, but I know the plastic that you're talking about, and that's actually what my face shield for my character is made out of. And
don't let it get too hot.
I've worried about it, but I found out that I've put so many layers on it that it just takes so much effort for it to actually get to that temperature that it would actually start to warp. But I totally know. Years ago, there was a Care Bear backpack that Lolly got, and it had the Care Bear that had sharp teeth. Well, she didn't listen, and she actually had to have a Care Bear with no teeth. And I told her, I said, don't worry about it. I know how to reform them. But yeah, that's unfortunately that's something that a lot of creators have to put in the thought process. 3D printing, that can go a higher temperature on a lot of things, but still you run the risk of those things being in any type of vehicle. I will say this over and over and over, and glad that we actually have this opportunity to say this. Take your masks out of your car. Do not put them in a window. Do not say, oh, well, I've got something on it, so the mask is going to be fine. Because you will find out that the paint, the mask, everything will start to
combust, and it will blow up, and your entire car will fly into pieces, and you'll kill thousands of people. So don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's been that extreme, but geez.
and that actually, because when I went down to Texas, I got in on a Tuesday, and we weren't going to the convention until Thursday, and there was no way I wanted those in the hot car for 2 days. So I practically unloaded about 75% of my car into Troy's house because I didn't want all that stuff getting, affected by the heat. Yes, that would be a minivan, D. I know.
So then we know that 73 degrees is the perfect temperature for these amazing plants.
Well, yeah. I will tell you, I actually have my command trailer that we put at our events. And if I have to, and there's any thought process of the temperature going a little hotter than what we like on some of our gear, we actually have a generator that we haul with and a air conditioner that cools down that trailer just to get it at a temperature that's lower than what it could be. Because anything that's in a trailer, it is stuck, it's hot. I don't care, even if it's like 90 degrees or 80 degrees, it can have the potential to raise way past 115. And as soon as you open that door, it's terrible. So we actually do that in concern of our gear. So I'm glad that, you brought this up, because honestly, I one of these shows I was going to gripe at people that leave their mask in their car, because it will crack, it will break, it will tear, it will deconstruct itself.
Yeah.
Speaking of the heat, that's something I didn't bring up about being down in Texas. It was hot.
Yeah.
But, so I'm outside and I'm like, wow, it's like people are, I'm like, it's what? It's 82, 83 degrees. And we pull up my thing, and it was 96 degrees.
Yeah.
Now that 96 degrees in Texas is what 82 degrees feels like here in Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, you guys have humidity too.
Well, that's the whole deal.
Texas does it. Yeah, because
it's North Texas
at 2% humidity versus 82 degrees at 90% humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you go down to Houston,
last year,
Houston or San Antonio, it's bad. It's really humid and 100. But because last year in Texas it was 100 each day.
Yeah, and it was. I mean, you walk out. That whole. I walk outside. It's like the devil just farted in my face. Yeah, that's exactly how it felt. This year. So what happened is the hurricane came up and and went up through Houston and up through Dallas. I actually ended up driving through the remnants of the hurricane coming through Arkansas, which that was an adventure. But that brought a little bit of cooler weather in behind it. Now, so Texas doesn't get up to 104. They're only up to 97. but it was comfortable. You know, I actually was like, hey, this isn't that bad. But I
thought
know
it was gorgeous weather.
Yeah, I mean, it was great.
Yeah. Now next year it's going to be at the end of July. It's just going to be hot.
Yeah,
it's going to be like 100 every day.
And isn't Irvine where the venue is next year? Isn't it more in the city than?
Yeah, and actually, so because I drove our daughter's friend to the airport yesterday. Well, actually, yeah, but it was hotter by the airport than it was in my town in Josephine, and even in Mesquite. It's actually hotter over there in the middle of Dallas than it is outside of Dallas,
because you got so much going on, all the traffic and
one of the plus sides, and Mike kind of touched on it a little bit, is that this year and the years past it's been at the Hampton Inn and the Mesquite Convention Center, which they are attached. So you walk from your bedroom to the convention floor, and to the classes and to the costume ball,
all in the
air conditioning. The only thing you have to go outside to do is smoke or get food at the food trucks. Next year, and from then on, that is not the case. And that is unfortunate, because I told the owners of the show, I go, that was really marketable. I go, I was able to tell, because they're like, oh, Texas is so hot in July. And I go, then you don't have to go outside. You can literally go from your bedroom to the convention and never get out of AC.
So they don't have a hotel connected to the.
There is no hotel connected. Not even the big one that's actually next to it. It's not connected at all. There's a parking garage in between the hotel and the other one, and the host hotel is across the street. It is a quick walk. It won't be to the point where everybody's dying, but if you have a very elaborate, like we were joking about being the Muppets next year, about all of us, me, Christopher, Kevin, all of us being the Muppets. There's no way I'm walking across that street in full felt. Okay, not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I would not walk across that street in the costumes we had this year.
No. And that's one of the suggestions I'm going to make to them. And I kind of already did a little bit on the other night when we were talking, but it is something I'm going to really kind of press into them, is that if they can have a room like one of the classrooms, they can convert it to a costume prep area where you bring your costume with you, walk it across from your hotel or whatever, or from your vehicle, and then you go in those rooms. 99% of us don't need to get naked to get in a costume, so we can be in some sort of like I was wearing this shirt underneath our costumes. I was just wearing a muscle shirt and shorts. So you don't have to get naked or anything like that. But so they don't need all the curtains up everywhere and all that. But they can have an area where a bunch of people can get ready so that they're not walking across or having to drive. There's a couple hotels you'll have to drive. And some of these costumes that were on that were at the costume ball this year, including ours, we can't drive with those on, or even ride in the car with them. So they may have to do something about that so that they can have a space for us to do that. Even if it's an area in the lobby, the lobbies there are huge. It is a huge convention center, so they've got plenty of areas where we can just go off to the side somewhere and do that too. Or at least give people the option. But
the costumes this year at the costume ball were there were some very unique costumes, stuff that I've never seen before that the people do. Sammy's costume was fantastic. And Bill's costume was very well done. But I can't think of like one that really stood out more than another. They were all really cool. Now, of course, you had your standard, like your Silent Hill people, your dime a dozen clowns, characters and stuff that were there. But there was one woman that dressed up as Krampus, but it wasn't your typical Krampus character. The whole outfit was Krampus, but she had just this beautiful makeup on her face. And she actually won for best
movie monster.
Movie monster, yeah, or something like that. So that was really cool.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. So the I have to, and since I have good internet, I have a little video that probably was the highlight, I would say the highlight of the night for me in the whole thing. So if you bring it up.
Oh.
Yeah, we can't hear anything, Mike.
Oh, you can't?
Mike didn't share his audio on
You
that.
have to unmute it.
Can you?
You shared it weirdly.
All day here, retail heroes. Judge's choice. This is the best costume set ever.
Yep. So Lowe's is Troy, I'm Home Depot, and our friend Kevin is Spirit Halloween.
He actually works for Spirit.
He does. He does. And we've had Kevin on the show. And he had me drink one of the traditional drinks from Chicago.
Gross.
Yep, that's what it is.
Yeah, I had to drink it this last weekend as well, and it was nasty. I mean, it was just it was just horrible.
At the end of that video, Nate was our Walmart greeter, and at the end of it, the person's talking about what we're talking about being quiet or something like that, and Nate goes, "I'm going to need to see your receipt." And so as Lowe's, I turn around to the crowd and I go, "At our store, we don't check receipts." And somebody else yelled back, "Because you don't have any customers."
That's what. That was me. That was me.
That was you.
That was me.
Because one of the things, and we actually got to talk to one of the judges today on Facebook, is that when we entered, before we even entered the judging room, we were arguing with each other who we were better than. Like, I was better than him. He was better than me. We were arguing before we even got in the room. We did a whole shtick the whole time. Me and Christopher were arguing, and then Kevin walks in and goes, "Guys, I am Halloween. It's in my name. I am Halloween." And I'm like, "You're just a Toys R Us knockoff because you make Toys R Us buildings."
Yeah. I was like, "You're just a glorified costume store with maybe a few crappy animatronics that break 3 weeks after you buy them."
Right.
And then Troy would say something, and then Kevin comes back and he's like, and he goes, "Well, at least I'm not one of those stupid big box stores that tries to hone in on this." And that's when Nate comes in and goes, Hey guys, you dropped your receipt for the 7-foot Walmart skeletons that you just purchased, because that's what these are. These are the 7-foot skeletons from Walmart.
Walmart skeletons with wearing the other stuff. So I mean, it was a whole, and we came up with the bit for Walmart literally like a day or two before we all went to the show, because we're like, what about Walmart? Like, we need to have Walmart come in there and just be like, at the end of our judging skit, that they come in there and be like, guys, those are Walmart skeletons. Who do you think you are? And so they said that was why that was one of the reasons that we won. Our chests lit up. He had an orange one. I had a blue one in mine. And then Kevin's eyes lit up every time he talked. And so the fact that we had lights, we had a whole skit that we did, and we continued that skit throughout the entire night. We, at one point, we went up to our room because it was getting kind of heavy to have those on. It was getting hot. And so we're like, well, it's going to be another hour and a half before the judging, before the costume contest is revealed. And so as we're walking by some people, they're like, "Oh, where are you guys going?" And we're like, "Oh, we're going on break." And I said, "Don't worry. There'll be 10 more of these because Lowe's gives out like 10 breaks an hour. That's why you can't see, that's why you can't find anybody at our stores." And so as we're leaving, we're still being the characters and we're still interacting with people as the stores. And the judges saw that throughout the night, and they were just like, "You guys never got out of character the entire time." And I learned that from when I won for the Amigos with Jim and Troy at West Coast. We made the Amigos costumes, and from the moment we walked into the judging thing, we did the dance, we talked like them, we acted like them. And they said, "You walked in doing the dance, you won the whole contest." Because
walking around arguing with each other was in character?
Well, I'm absolutely
we were
better than
arguing
him
as
all the
Home
time.
Depot and we were arguing as Home Depot and Lowe's. So yes,
Right,
we were
but
in character. Once we got out of character, it was just no holds barred.
You're
Well,
normal arguing.
Christopher knows that I'm better than him all the time anyway, so it was just natural. You know.
Yeah, well, I was Lowlander.
But who's Jennifer?
Best.
So Jennifer Cochran, if you look in Facebook, there are dozens of Facebook groups dedicated to like the 12-foot skeleton, the 12-foot pumpkin inferno, the 12-foot witch, all Home Depot Halloween props and stuff like that, and they're all created by one person, Jennifer Penelope Cochran. And so like I said, she has dozens of these groups out there dedicated strictly to Home Depot. Yeah. And so that's why I made the button that says I didn't make it, Troy made it. Yeah. But I asked, because I asked him, I said, I need a button that says I heart Jennifer. And he made two of them. He made one that was an actual human heart, which is what was on the apron. And then he had another one that was just a regular heart. And I'm like, nah, I kind of like the human heart one. So, but yeah, so this was, we actually spoke with the lady that organized the whole costume contest, and she was like, the judges went one way with one, and I'm like, no, they really need to do one way with another. But if you look at the rules of the contest, it says clearly in there, and it's underlined, if you enter for group, you are not eligible for Judge's Choice or Best in Show.
Well, it said any other category.
Oh, any other category. You're not eligible for any other category. Right. And so they went and and they announced the winners, and the winner of Best Group was this group of what's that?
The Unright family.
Yeah. Right. The Unright. Yeah. And they were just it was a group of like a sane asylum and clowns and characters and stuff like that. And I'm in the costume, and nobody can hear me, but I went, son of a bitch. Because I'm like, God, we put so much time into these costumes, and it's like, we modified, we went back and forth, we did trial and error. And it's just like, dang it, clowns.
About 8 months. About 8 months.
Clowns again. The clowns won last year, but the only reason they won last year was they were the only group that entered. Yeah. This year there were 3 groups: us, the asylum clowns, and a couple of people that did a Silent Hill. Yeah, Silent Hill costume, Silent Hill costumes. And I was just like, man, the clowns won again. I can't believe that. And I didn't pick up on this when the MC said it. But she's like, the next one that we're doing is Judge's Choice, and for this one we threw out all the rules because during the judging contest, during the actual judging, we found out that they wanted to choose us for funniest, and they were like, no, you really need to do the cowboy, or not the cowboy. You need to do Yosemite Sam as funniest. We really need to put the clown or the skeleton someplace else. And they're like, wow, we really like the insane asylum for the group, and we can't put them anywhere else because we're not supposed to. And so she's like, well, if you want them to put them in Judge's Choice, you can put them in Judge's Choice. And they're like, well, no, we can't. It's against the rules. And she was like, I'm the one that wrote the rules. I can change them.
Well, and that's the whole point of Judge's Choice, that the judges get to break the rules.
Yeah. So because of all that, we ended up winning. We ended up winning Judge's Choice, and there was actually one judge that wanted us to win Best in Show. Yeah. But the other two were like, no, we're gonna put Sammy's character, the Wendigo or I don't know. Wendigo. I forget exactly how to say it, but anyways, we want to give her Judge's Choice or Best in Show, and then we'll put, they'll put us in, they'll put us in Judge's Choice. So yeah, we got Judge's Choice.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you guys. I mean, I seen this and I thought those 3 knuckleheads did a good job.
We really we had a lot of fun making them together. What award are you showing, Mike? Get out of here with that. Get out of here.
Doesn't matter.
With longest beard.
Here's my Canadian Home Hunter Award for
you
best.
Put that away too, sir.
That can be only one.
Yeah, see, best static prop, and you know what that was for? That was for my Hand of Glory.
No,
so see,
your hand job.
Yeah, that was for my hand. Shut up, Troy.
Both of the times that I've won awards for being in a costume contest, it's been with other people, and I don't have the awards for either one of those because
Troy, do not complain. You are the one that's
done yet, sir. I'm going to give you a compliment. Shut your mouth. That Christopher did most of the work on this, and same with Troy. Troy Friends from Halloween Hellmouth. He's the one who did a lot of the work on the costumes, kept us on task. Christopher did a lot, like he modified his skeleton first, and he had a lot more time to do it. And so he was modifying, doing, trial and error and trying this. And we were sharing videos back and forth the whole time of all 3 of us working on what to do and coming up with ideas together. And so he would go and try it and say, no, we need to do this. And then he would send me a shopping list and said, Troy, go buy all this stuff and do this. And I'm like, yes, I can do that. But I filmed all of what I did. So he did it. I then did it again and filmed it. So we are going to have a how-to of how to modify a 7-foot. And you could probably do even I know there's some 10-foot skeletons out there too. I don't know if Walmart's bringing back out the 7-foot skeleton. I hope they do. And
I'm sure they will, because it was a very good seller for them. And towards the end of the season, if you went there to try to find one, you couldn't find it.
No, they only have the 5 feet left.
Yeah.
So
we were lucky enough that when we decided, because this whole thing started when I saw a TikTok, the guy's name is Nick Bailing, and he did a very similar costume to this. And I sent it to Troy and I said, hey, Troy, how funny would it be if we did these costumes for the Texas Haunters Convention? And he's like, well, it doesn't really look like it's that difficult to build, because in one of his TikTok videos, he goes over a few details. He's like, I'm using a snare drum rig. I've got these handles in the elbows, and then in the comments, he actually gave a few other little tips. But there was a lot that he did not give us, and so it was a lot of trial and error for us when we were doing it. But we had the basic setup and design from his videos. So he did his as cowboys, and he melted the fingers to make like finger guns, and he had holsters in them, and he'd put the finger, and then he would take them out and he'd go like this, and it was finger guns. And so I was like, wouldn't that be funny? And so we really got to thinking about how we're going to do this and what we're going to do. And, the idea of, Home Depot and Lowe's arguing about who has the best Halloween props, and, let's get Spirit in. And then, Kevin was like, well, I'm going to do something a little different, where I'm going to use an old Spirit prop and make mine that way. And I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So he's going to do that. But we decided to do this in mid to late November. That's when we said, yep, this is what we're going to do. We were lucky enough to find those 7-foot skeletons 50% off.
Yeah.
A week later, they went 75% off. I was like, yeah. But, at that time, you can't risk it. And then if you look on Walmart right now, the 7-foot skeleton's like $300. But when they actually bring it back in for Halloween, it'll be around like $99 or something like that. Yeah. But it was like, oh my gosh! But we really lucked out, and then we got them for 50% off. And so here it is, almost Thanksgiving, and I've got a skeleton being delivered to my front door. My wife goes, why did you order a 7-foot skeleton? Where in the world are we going to put this in our display? And it's like, oh no, this is for my costume for Texas.
In this part, you'll see Kevin's eyes light up when he talks.
I'm looking for We got Spirit Halloween right
he
there.
had a button under there that
And then
made
we
the lights
got
go on.
Lowe's, Halloween, and Home Depot.
That is cool.
Oh my god, that's great.
Did you guys want to be faster? Yeah, lunch break.
No, I'm sorry, my bones are a little old.
Yeah, we're on our lunch break. Thanks for hanging out, waiting for us. We're gonna have a sale on lumber and 3-inch screws, so you can screw yourself. Crooked lumber, whatever. All you sell is cold lumber. Purple tag.
At least my lumber is usable.
Purple tag. It was pretty hard to walk around in these, by the way. We could only see like this much.
Yeah.
It was very hard.
Yeah. Troy's wife, Ashley, was gracious enough, even though she was in costume too. She was part of our handler. And then Troy's daughter, Elizabeth, she was one of our handlers as well.
That's funny.
We'll see.
I'm not going to lie. This is very awesome to see you guys doing this.
Judge's choice. This award means that anything goes. Any rule that the judges saw fit, because somebody deserved this very much so. The winner of the Judges Award is Halloween Retail Hero!
Troy, right there, I thought you were about to fall over.
No, I was good. I'm all walking.
We actually got out there. We actually got out there and
we danced.
And danced.
Yeah.
You need to receive for that.
So, like I said, when I seen you guys got this award, I thought, you know what?
That was one thing I was thinking of though when we were standing there waiting for it to, and it was like, oh my God, how the hell are we going to get up these damn stairs? And that's when Nate was like, no guys, if you guys win, I'll go up on stage.
So you can see this is one of my tests. The neighbors loved watching me manhandle a skeleton. So this will be one of our in our DIY video. You'll see more of this, but so you can see that it's a snare drum rig.
Yeah,
it's being held on by a snare drum holder. So
go out and buy a snare drum rig. Those are expensive.
We found them for like $40 to $50 online.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not even that. I think mine was 25.
No, mine was like 60 because I waited too long.
Yeah.
So I just want to point out the creativity on this, and then you guys actually getting characters. How did you guys get the vests? I mean, usually
those Lowe's vests aren't even allowed in the parking lot.
So I will tell you, I actually went into Lowe's and Home Depot and I told them what we were doing. I said, I'm making a costume. It's a skeleton puppet, and we're going in as Lowe's and Home Depot. I'm like, is it possible to get a vest? Is it possible to get an apron? And Home Depot was like, no, you can't have an apron. It's against store policy to just give out those aprons. We can't do it. It's
and same thing. Can be an employee.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody can come in and look like an employee.
Yeah.
And same thing with the Walmart as well as Lowe's.
Yeah.
But eBay is a wonderful place.
Yeah. By the way, Spirit throws away their aprons at the end of the year. So if you ever want a Spirit apron, they're in their dumpster. I don't know how I know that. Okay, I dumpstered it. But...
Kevin gives them to you. Kevin,
who works for Spirit, gives me all the aprons. Sure.
Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah. So they were actual authentic Lowe's vests.
Now my vest, because it's Lowe's, my name was Rob, because it's Rob Lowe's.
My name was Homer,
and I think I called Kevin. I think it was Dirty Dumpster Daisy or something like that was Kevin's
Dumpster
name.
Daisy. It was Dumpster Daisy.
Dumpster Daisy.
And then the Walmart vest that I got actually came with a name tag and a lapel pin, one of their enamel pins, and it said Chloe on it.
No,
and
Sherry.
So we're like,
Sherry.
Or Sherry, yeah, it said Sherry, and everybody was like, okay, well, we're gonna scrape this off, and then we'll get some vinyl. I said, no,
nope,
it needs to stay. I think it would be funnier if it just stays that way.
We gave Nate a bunch of receipts from Walmart too, and he kept like handing them to people, and then he would walk away and then come back like a minute later, and he would go, "Can I see your receipt, please?" And he stood by the entrance and asked people for their receipt to the costume ball.
Yeah,
he just walked around. It was so hilarious the whole night. And of course, he was drinking too. And they're like, "Well, the Walmart greeter's drinking." And it's like, yeah, have you been to a Walmart? They're all drinking.
Yeah. So we're at our point where we're going to start shutting down the show, but before we do this, you guys have your awards. Reverend Mike, he was bringing up an award. I will also. That is my award that I was given this past year.
Yay!
Yay!
We showed it last show because Maximus Christian Bryant was on the show.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
And when he was on the show, he's like, I was very deserving. And I'm going to see how I'm deserving of this because I've got to do a Halloween in July tomorrow with Max. And this is going to be from 12 until 7, which is like, wow. It's a small old show that they are doing in Circleville, Ohio. Oh, Mike's got something.
Mike has like 75 awards.
I know he does.
I know, right?
Yes. We brought that up too.
Best boss.
He's got a stack of them this year.
Yeah.
Place to work. Okay, so bear in mind. Okay, there's another good one. Weekend Entertainment. Family-owned company. Now, this little town of Sydney where we are has the distinction of having the country's longest continuous running outdoor rodeo. They celebrated 102. This is year 102.
Wow.
Continuous running outdoor rodeo, 102 years, right? Only thing Sydney's known for until now.
Yeah. That's right.
Nice.
We beat the 102-year-old rodeo.
Well, haunts are better.
Right.
So,
right.
I do want to thank all you guys for being on the show.
Okay.
I know that we had our wonderful moment of squirreling here and squirreling there, but once again, Texas Hunters Convention seems like a really, really wonderful one. Don't you point that at me. Anyway, it seems like a wonderful convention. I would love to get down there and go to see it. It's just a very time restraining thing in my life, but maybe one of these days we can get Friday to go to it, and she'll have to do some documentary stuff. Curious, how much are the tickets usually ballparking around?
For the weekend pass just to go to the trade show, it was like $25.
Yeah.
The VIP pass that included all the classes, technically the classes are free if you buy the VIP pass. I think it was $120 this year, and that's all 3 days. That's costume ball, that's the Friday night party, and like a meet and greet type thing, and all the classes. And then the haunt tour this year, it changes every year. A couple of years ago, it was $50. last year it was $75. You got 2 haunts. This year it was $100, but you got dinner. And like I told people, I'm like, if you went to Dark Hour on the haunt tour for $50 and then you went to dinner after or before, you would have spent about another $50. Right. So,
and it was 3 times through the place too. It was show, it was lights on, it was backstage. Absolutely.
So generally, if you were to do the haunt tour and the VIP, you're looking about $220 for everything for the whole entire weekend. The hotel was like $130, but that's all going to change a little bit next year because it is a bigger venue. The hotels are different. The host hotel has a similar price as the Hampton this year, so that may not change.
Good.
And there's different options for hotel. There's a crap ton of hotels, crap ton of food around there. So the ticket price might go up a little bit, but knowing the owners of the show, they're going to do their damnedest to ensure that it stays economical because they do want families to come. And that was a sentiment. I always put up a post at the end of the shows on our on the attending groups that I made, and I said, what's your give and takes, what's your bad and good, and people were kind of worried about the parking costs and about the prices going up because there's another big show called Texas Frightmare that is in the same location, and the tickets aren't that cheap. So I know that our owners will do their best to keep the prices down as best they can. They're not in this for the money. They're not in it for the profit. And so they're going to do everything they can to keep it as economical for everybody. Because they do want to keep the family part of it there for sure.
Yeah.
And that's a really great thing. I know that this is the first year that Lolly went with me to Midwest Hunters Convention. She had a great time. Yeah. I think she's okay, and she wants to go to do another convention or do the same one next year. Yeah. This is 2 years in a row that I've been able to figure out, how to get into the convention. Last year I paid for the whole VIP experience. But I ran out of time and I didn't go to a single show or demonstration. Yeah. So I cut that one out of my cost. Then I turned around and found out that, hey, OHA was going to send me to Midwest, and our wonderful vendor or our wonderful sponsor here at the network went ahead and took care of Lolly's ticket.
Nice.
So both of us did not have to deal with that. I know Transworld, I've been told, come down, we will get you in. You can go underneath us or this or that. I am a haunt owner, so technically I can get the tickets, no problem.
Yeah.
You haven't been to Transworld yet?
No, I haven't. And I took your advice a long time ago when you said go to other ones first.
Yes.
Then go to Transworld.
I agree.
And I've done this and I've said, okay, so next year just might be the year that I go down to Transworld to go see everything. I've got a lot of people that want to come, me to come. That way they can meet me in person or just see me down there.
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming for sure. The first time is
now for you guys out there. The reason that I gave him that advice was because, as I said earlier, Transworld was our very first convention. Okay. Transworld is like the granddaddy, the huge. So the next few conventions we went to, we were a little let down because the very first one we ever saw was Transworld.
Yeah,
now that we've got friends and I got friends. Now that we've got friends and things like that, they're that's why I gave him that advice. And go with money because you will want to buy. You will. Bring money.
I will tell you that my trailer, our mobile command trailer for my haunt, has been the Transworld, and I got a wonderful photo. I got a wonderful photo by somebody that took a picture and said, "Well, your trailer's here, but you're not." So that's one of those things that I love going. I love seeing stuff. And I love seeing all my friends. So this year might be the year that everything works together. Lolly's already told me that she doesn't think that I will be able to beat around the bush, and I will have to go here this year or next year. But no matter what, if you guys have never been to a convention and you guys are really wondering what it is to go to a convention, see some of these different stuff. If you're on the East Coast, there's the East Coast Haunters Convention. If you're in the middle, there is the Chicago's Midwest Haunters Convention. There's one in Texas. I know that there is smaller ones around, but I've never been to them, and I would like to go to a lot of different ones.
I've always said, go to as many as you can that make sense for you.
Right.
You know, like Midsummer Scream is a lot more horror oriented than it is than sci-fi and cosplay than it is Halloween. They are getting a lot more Halloween in, and they have a cool home haunt section that actually puts home haunts in, like you can walk through them. You know, but it's in California, so it's an expensive trip for a lot of people, and the hotel's not cheap.
And the show's not cheap.
And the show is not cheap either. Like 30,000 people go to that show, so it's not one of your. This is not a social talk to everybody show. This is a get in, buy your stuff, and get out if you can. You know, but go to shows that make sense for you. But also branch out and try to go to every one of them. We used to be told back, you know, before I even went, you know, because I had West Coast in my backyard, 20 minutes away from me. And everybody kept telling me, you have to go to Midwest. You have to go to Midwest. You don't go to any other show. Just go to Midwest. And I'm like, well, okay. So I went, and it was awesome. But I was like, well, what do you mean don't go to any other ones? Like, there are other shows that have things that I need, and every show has something the others don't. And that's where
like
all
makeup.
of them shine. And it's, what does it have?
I said like makeup.
Oh yeah, that's true. You know, but yeah, every show has something unique, even based on vendors or events that the other ones don't have. And so there is a good reason to go to at least all of them once. And I say that about vendors too. And then make your decision from there. If you didn't have fun at Midwest, then go to East Coast or go to Transworld, you know.
But you will.
Yeah. Plus, you're gonna meet a ton of people, and just like Pyle was telling the story about how his daughter's going and everything, you get to meet people, meet their families, faces to Facebook profiles, and you get to. I mean, I have made so many relationships and so many business relationships because of these shows, and almost none of them have been made on the trade show floor. All of them have been in the after hours. They've been at 1 o'clock in the morning.
The couch in the lobby.
Yeah.
In the swimming pool.
Yeah. The trolls here. How did somebody make that profile that's obviously me? That's weird.
That's so funny.
I wanted to show one thing that's made by a very creative person, Bill Bornder from Mindtrap Creations, and this to me was one of his favorite products.
Oh yeah, the boob butts. I'm not his creation.
Oh
yeah,
sorry.
The boob butts. He sold a lot of those.
Yeah. Well, I actually had this one at my booth, and people kept coming up and going, "Oh, that's awesome. Do you have any more of those?" And I go, "This isn't mine. It's not mine." I said, "This is actually made by a really good, dear, very close, loving friend of mine." Yes, I embellished that, but he's working up at Mindtrap, just a few booths up there. If you want one of these awesome little props, you have to go there and get one.
So I was talking about twerking.
People were doing that left and right. There were a lot of vendors that were sending other attendees to other vendors. He sent attendees over to another person who sells horns because they wanted a specific type of horn. And we're all sending each other to play. Sending other attendees to other vendors because we want everybody there to succeed. And so people are like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" Or they would, like Christopher said, would see it in your booth. No, you got to go over there. And some of it, these people would just walk away from Christopher and go over there. And he's like, "Well, wait, you were talking about my products too."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it can
right.
backfire a little bit too.
Yeah.
So,
well, but like I said, I want to, like Troy said, I want people to succeed. And if I don't have something that they need, and I don't have something that I can, if they want something that I don't have the ability to make right there, then because could I make one of the horns that they were asking for? Absolutely. But I've never done one before, and it would probably take me a little bit to make sure that it's to the quality that I think it should be. But this vendor that's right down there, she has them. Go down there, check them out. So
yeah.
So we're going to close out the show, and the way that we do this, Troy, where can we find you?
Terrortours.rip.
All right. Reverend Mike.
I'm everywhere. Just Google Sinister Sydney, and it's Sydney with an I, not a Y.
Yeah, no kidding.
Google Sinister Sydney. We're everywhere. We got a website. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on all those other things that kids do. Whatever.
Yeah. Christopher, where can we find you?
spookyconfectionery.com. And that's spooky like cookie, SPOOKIE. Spooky Confectionery. TryHauntCreations.com. Etsy with Tryhaunt Creations. So
wonderful. And Friday, where can we find you? And I'll tell you what, Friday is a master of disguise.
I am everywhere too. I pretend to be 9 different people, but you can find me here on Owlite Network. You can find me at Fake War Publishing. You can find me on my actual pages, Friday with the Library and the Blue Box, and my actual publishing page, Jennifer Elliott. Hence why I thought that was so cool. There's a pin that said, "I love Jennifer." I knew it wasn't me, but it was still cool.
Hey, it could be anybody.
Before
it could be any Jennifer.
Before we do chime out of this, we are getting into official thinking about haunts and this and that, and I gotta know, Troy, are you planning on going to a haunt this season?
I am gonna go. Well, other than the Terror Tours 10 haunts, yes, I'm actually going to one of the haunts that's up in Oklahoma. It's called Mad Jack's, and they're like an interactive.
And they were in Texas.
One. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to go to plenty in Texas though too. That's my goal, is to stay around here this time. I went to Chicago last year, so I got to stay here.
Reverend Mike, I know that you got your own haunt. You probably don't get a chance to go see other haunts, but what would be a haunt that you would like to kind of go see one day?
There's a million of them. One of my top bucket lists is a haunt overload.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my bucket list ones that I definitely.
I've been there.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I haven't been there, but that's a good one.
And Christopher.
So yeah, I'm planning on going to 2 of them. I've actually got some friends coming down middle of October, and they're going to be at Woods of Terror out in Greensboro, North Carolina. Yeah. So I'm going to be going out there while they're there, and I also want to go over to Lake Hickory Haunts, because one of the local shows that I did here, they bought 2 of my plants, and they were going to be putting them in their greenhouse area. So I kind of want to go out there and see those, see them in the greenhouse. So so yeah, I'd like to go out to Lake Hickory as well. Don't know if I'm going to have time to do that, just because I also want to. There's a local haunt here that I want to do a little bit of work with as well. But yeah, but I mean, definite to Woods of Terror.
Nice. Friday, is there a haunt that you've had your eyeball on?
Actually, 2. I want to go back to the Gothic Gel in Ritter, Louisiana, and I want to go visit the Texas Maze of Terror and Biter for the first time.
Wonderful. Now, I'm Pyle Hazard. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me here on the Owlite Network. And the haunts I want to go to, I just want to go to every single haunt I can get into. But I love being a guest haunter. So I'm hoping that Distraction Haunted House is going to okay me to travel up a hour and a half north of us to come and do one of their out of season haunts. But you can find me at Chainer's Haunted or Chainer's Field of Screams here in Botkins, Ohio. You can find me at Hell's Dungeon down in Dayton, Ohio. You can find me at Lafayette's Haunted Town Hall, which is in Lafayette, Ohio. So, you know, you can find my character a lot of different places.
And anytime you want to come down to Sydney, Iowa, not Sydney, Ohio, but Sydney, Iowa, you're welcome to.
That would be wonderful. And I'll tell you what, Sydney, Ohio does have a haunted woods. And I was there for 8 years.
I know you were. So if you want to come down to Sydney, Ohio, of course, our town was actually named after that one because the lady that owned all the property, Kate, was born in Sydney, Ohio. That's why we're called Sydney.
I already booked my flight for Sydney, Ohio, so I'm sorry.
No, you're screwed.
Sorry.
I was just so you know, Sydney, Ohio, their haunted town or their Sydney Haunted Woods is only open on Saturdays. So if you booked it to come in for a Friday show, you just need to go up north and come see Chainer's.
I only booked for a Tuesday to Wednesday because that's when all the best haunts are open. Duh. Where you guys been?
I will open mine for you, Troy.
I know, right?
I wouldn't.
I know. Mike wouldn't. Mike would run his horses down there to kick me.
Yeah.
As long as Troy gives me one of those stress hearses that he promised a long. Yeah, that you promised like a long time.
Those. God, I sold a lot of those.
So we're going to end the show, but you know what? I think it's wonderful to have all you guys come along on this wonderful journey throughout the haunted house industry because there is a lot to this. And I love my guests, and sometimes they got to repeat, and I have no idea what Reverend's doing right now, but sometimes I don't want to know.
Well, you know, it's past his 2:30 p.m. bedtime. His Ovaltine's worn off.
I ate at like 4:00 this afternoon.
Look, how old are you, Grandpa?
Did you not hear him? You were at his 60th birthday celebration, Troy.
Right.
I should have got there.
If you cared more about people, you would know that when you're at a birthday, like how old they are, and you would remember it.
You know
I
what?
have an award for Troy.
All right,
I don't see ages. I don't see ages. I'm not an ageist like you. Okay.
This is why they go on tomorrow and they will bicker and fight
all
on
day.
The wonderful haunt chat group.
That's right.
So
no, we never fight on the haunt chat group because nobody can get a word in otherwise.
Yes, we do.
So right now, Friday, can you do me a favor and go ahead and play that wonderful video at the end of the show to get these two to stop bickering?
Bye-bye.
What are you talking about?